So, good evening YouTube, as we are currently live streaming this topic, but we're going to be talking about Maze of Master. This is the brand new side set from Konami that has introduced us to new support for Performer Pal, new support for Galaxy Eyes, and of course the Odin deck, as well as some other awesome cards. There's also a lot of reprints, as you can see straight away from the first picture on screen. Pretty much the full Sword Soul deck has been reprinted, which is really kind of cool because then it makes it really cheap because they're all rare reprints. And then the final reprint for Christians that we've been waiting for in the form of Quandrax has also been confirmed. So I thought it'd be good to do it on a live stream where we can talk about the reprints in this set, the whole set in general, and then obviously, as always, massive shout out to Doll Daddy who have put these graphics together. It's always quite nice to see all of the cards in one place. Now, I don't know exactly what each of the cards are in Collector's Rare, like which ones are Collector's Rare, but we can obviously check out some of the pre-order prices as well, so you have an idea of what these are currently going for, selling for, and how effective or how much will this dictate, considering that we have the YCS Vegas 3v3 this weekend alongside the UK Yu-Gi-Oh! Open, which will be, so the Yu-Gi-Oh! Open in the UK is a week tomorrow, and YCS Vegas is a week today, so they'll be doing a Saturday and Sunday. Unfortunately, Vegas isn't broadcast, but it will be like vlogged or blogged, so you can kind of follow along with that as well, in order to know what's going on, as I feel that for the overall game, that's going to be the biggest event. But then you obviously have the UK Open, which will be the competitive event for like the European equivalents in and around the place. So before we dive headfirst into this set, I'd like to say good evening to David and Spiros, who are the first two in the chat talking along. So yeah, as we're watching this, if you do have any kind of comments or your thoughts about this set, then let me know as well, and we kind of go from there. So David starts off with the Alt Art for Galaxy card, looks awesome, which is the number 107. I'll try and see if I find it because I don't think that they've got the actual alternative art here. So it's Galaxy number 107 alternative. Oh, I lie, they do have the alternative art. Actually, I'm just going to jump ahead. The alternative art is here. There you go. So, unfortunately, the alternative art is only available as a quarter century secret rare. Whether you see that as a good thing or a bad thing, entirely up to you. So, there are going to be two quarter century secret rares in this set. One of them being Silent Magician level 8, and one of them being the number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon as an alternative art. This seems to be something that they want to be doing a little bit more of, where they're making the alternative arts quarter century only. I mean, I kind of torn between that. Like, it's kind of cool to have these alternative arts as that specific special rarity style, but it's also quite disappointing because then it means that if you want to have the alternative art style as a collector or as like just a general Galaxy player, you're going to probably need to pay a little bit more of a premium to have it as a quarter century secret rare. Whereas if you're just like, I just want the artwork, then it might be a little bit disappointing. So yeah, this is the two quarter centuries in this set. And there's a couple of close-ups of some of the other cards that we've got. We do know that Molchomi Perulia has been reprinted as an ultra rare. And it's also as a collector's rare as well. So we kind of expected this to come out one way or another because it was already in... we know that Fluoros is in Stampede, and there was a lot of speculation that this could possibly be reprinted in Stampede, but it looks like it's obviously been reprinted in Maze, and it's obviously been reprinted as a collector's rare and an ultra rare. So a rarity upgrade for anyone that wants it to be that way, but I wouldn't put it past Konami to put this in the Stampede as well. Other noticeable reprints is Quandrax. Quandrax is a rare I think is actually massive, for the fact of the matter is that they've reprinted all of the main Christian cards. So before the reprints of OTS 27, Sulfur, which was only available as a super rare, was like £5 a copy. Now that's being reprinted as a common, as well as Crystron Citri, which was originally an ultra rare going anywhere from £20 to £30 a copy. Now it's been reprinted as a common in that OTS, so it's a lot easier and cheaper to get. Quandrax was again sitting between £20 to £30. Having this reprinted as a guaranteed rare in the set obviously makes it a hell of a lot cheaper for everyone to get hold of, especially with all the new Crystron support. The only downside is something like Schmeiger has now gone up in value. That card is now like £7 for a copy, £7 for a playset. That's not the end of the world. Obviously, I have seen a lot like worse kind of price spikes, but it kind of gives you an idea of what you'd be looking at. Another one of the brand new cards is the Ancient Gear statue. So this is going to be an ultra rare. This is actually a really kind of cool card for Ancient Gears themselves. So if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you get to special summon this card from the hand. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. You contribute this card to special summon from your hand or deck an Ancient Gear Golem or a monster that mentions it except itself, ignoring its summoning conditions. So it's actually just really kind of cool to get you access to your other Ancient Gear cards and of course your Ancient Gear Golem. So as an ultra rare, it's not that expensive. It's like £5, I believe, on pre-orders is what I saw. Now, it is only specific for Ancient Gears, so that is a nice addition that you're not really going to need to pay through the nose to get it. And I'm quite looking forward to getting my play set of these as well. Then, of course, you have the brand new Odin cards. So this is the anime character from Season 2, I want to say. I think it's like 2 and 3. If I remember correctly. So the artworks on these are absolutely stunning. The effects, not as effective as you might have wanted them to be, but they're still really kind of cool. So this card is the brand new boss monster, Anubis the Last Judge, and I love the fact that they're all kind of like Egyptian themed, which is really, really kind of cool. So it can't be normal summon this set, it must be special summon from the hand or graveyard while you have 3 or more cards in your graveyard with different names that are Temple of the Kings and or traps by placing 2 of them on the bottom of the deck in any order. You get to send this card from the hand to the graveyard to add a man with the mark from the deck to the hand. If a spell or trap card you control is destroyed by card effect, you get to target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Now, the man in the mark, I'm hoping I've got a close-up picture of him here somewhere, but I might not, which I'll try and Google it as we go. But the man with the mark is actually like really kind of cool. So all of the new cards, like they're cool, they're fun, they're a little bit out there, but yeah, so the man with the mark, if it is normal or special, you take a Temple of the Kings or a spell and trap that mentions it from the deck and either add it to the hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. While you control Temple of the Kings, this card and Apophis cards, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. Temple of the Kings you control cannot be destroyed by card effect as well. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with that, Temple of the Kings is the spell card that lets you activate trap cards. So you get to activate one trap card the turn it is set. You can send a mythical beast circuit in your monster zone, and this card you control to the graveyard to special summon a monster from your hand or deck, or a fusion monster from your extra deck that can only use each effect of Temple of the Kings once per turn. So they got like a brand new trap card. I'm going to see if I can find the rest of them as well. So they got a brand new trap card, Apophis the Serpent. So you get to special summon it as a normal monster, so it's a continuous trap card. Reptile level 4 is also treated as a trap, and then you get to set an Apophis trap from the deck except itself, and it can be activated this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add an embodiment of a Amophis from your deck to the hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So it's a really kind of fun deck, and I like the way that it works. The issue is it's not like meta dependent or like meta defining, and unfortunately they did get a lot of high rarity cards in this set. Like, I believe as we go through the rest of this, you'll see that they got like 2 or 3 ultras. So they got one secret in the man with the mark. They got an ultra with the Anubis. They got an ultra with the scorpion of the circuit, and then they got a fusion monster as well. So they got loads of kind of cool cards. They also got Treasures of the Kings, which I believe is a secret rare as well. So here's just like a really, I'm going to see if I can open this up and put it up on the, try and give the credit to Dual Daddy as we go. So bear with me 2 seconds. Oh, where's he? He did have it. He had like a combo line for it, but it's not opened up. I want to specifically see this post, but it doesn't look like it's letting me show it or see it. But basically, what it is, let me see if I can drag it over here. So just you can kind of see it on the screen. So with the Anubis the Last Judge, you get to add the man with the mark. A man with mark lets you add Treasures of the King, and then it also lets you set the Apophis, the Serpent. So starting with the Anubis the Last Judge, you can send this card from the hand to the graveyard to add a copy of man with the mark from the deck to the hand. When summoned, the man with the mark lets you take a Temple of the Kings or a spell and trap that mentions it from the deck and add it to the hand or send it to the graveyard. Using the above effect, you get to add a copy of Treasure of the Kings to your hand and then activate it. While you control Treasures in the field zone, its name becomes Temple of the Kings. Also, when it's activated, Treasures lets you set an Apophis trap directly from the deck, like the new Apophis the Serpent. And as long as you control Temple of the Kings, the man with the mark prevents itself and Apophis monsters you control from being destroyed by battle or card effect, and Temple cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it's just like a nice little all-round circle, which is kind of cool. So it's definitely a fun deck, but the fact of the matter is, it's exactly that. It's a fun deck for like £100 right now, which is what the pre-orders are going for. Going back to the rest of the set, so just to kind of give you an overview of the set itself, it releases on the 12th of March, so literally next week, and its official release date is the 14th, so it means if you go to an OTS store, you'll be able to pick the packs up a little bit early. 7 cards per pack at $4.49 each, and it's 112 cards in the overall set. The complete Maze of Master set contains 112 cards, the largest of the Maze boosters, no surprise there. 6 secrets, 13 ultras, 21 super rares, 70 rares, 2 quarter centuries rare, and then 16 of these cards are also available as collector's rare. Each booster pack contains 7 cards, 1 foil card per pack, and then 6 rare cards per pack. So the issue with that is, technically, when you add it all up, the amount of foils is 40 foils. So there's 40 foils in the entire set, which means from a box, I haven't seen any of the pre-openings yet, which I probably should have watched. I don't know how. I assume that ultras are going to be pretty much the same, right? You'll probably get, what, 2 secrets a box and then like 4 ultras a box, give or take. So we already know what the 2 quarter century secrets rares are, the Silent Magician level 8 and then number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon alternate of art. And then you can look at some of these reprints here. So I don't know if these are supers. I think these are all rares. But you can kind of see that these are like the common reprints. Like these are the stuff you're gonna want to get hold of. And then we start looking about the reprints. So these are just going to be more reprint set before we get onto the last one, which will show you all the brand new cards. But you can see like you've got some of the cards that are being reprinted here are cards that have just had new support in Supreme Darkness, and it's about time that they got reprinted as well. So Marksman getting a reprint as well, and Heavy Infantry, both really kind of cool. I think the only thing missing from the Mermail reprints that are of high value right now is Abyss Pike, and I think the Abyss Pike is going to be in Rarity 4 Stampede. Then, of course, you've got some nice Gladiator Beast reprints here as well. These are all going to be, they're all pretty cool and useful for the Glad Beast support that we just received, and, of course, for Edison as well, or technically Time Wizard 2006, is it, I believe. You've got all of the Heralds. You've got Herald of Purple, Green, and Orange. Orange is actually a really good reprint on this one. Then you've got your Thunder Dragons, and this is a bit weird that you've got Thunder Dragon Dark and Thunder Dragon Hawk. They just kind of seemed like cards that needed a reprint, and they've kind of put them in here. Clear World, Temple of the Kings, pretty standard on this one. The Chaos Forms, the whole Sword Soul engine, which is really interesting that they've reprinted this. But I suppose that's probably to go hand in hand with the the 10-year cards that we just got in Supreme Darkness as well. So you can kind of see that this set feels like it could have come out before the Supreme Darkness, but also makes sense why it's after the Supreme Darkness as well. So you can also see as well, these are the brand new Perform Age kind of cards. I haven't looked into them so much. You've also got the Allure Queens as well. They've kind of given some reprints here and some of the new cards up here. So I haven't looked too heavily into the Perform Age cards, but you can pick up an entire core on Tier 0 games for like £7.50 before discount. So you can kind of see where that's going. So I'm just going to try and catch up on some of the chats that's been going on. So Spiros, if we are doing to have a card exclusively in Quarter Century Synchro, I think it's better for it to be an alternative art instead of an example, a card like Magia. At this point, we basically pick the lesser evils. I completely agree. I would much rather a Quarter Century be an alternative art of a card you can already get, and you can get the original art, which is what I'm assuming this card is down here. It's just like a rare of the original art, which would be really kind of cool. David Hawk says, what was the first ever card you got? So the first ever card I got was, technically it was a full structure deck. I got the starter deck Yugi structure deck, and my brother got the Blue Eye structure deck. So kind of see where the paths were laid out at that point. So Keith, it seems like a good box to crack. You get a higher chance of pulling the secret you want. Very true. It kind of comes down to your value in comparison to what you want. And what I mean by that is, when we look at the last page, which will be this page here, these are all the new cards. So obviously you've got all of the Odin cards, and the Odin cards have got 2 secret rares out of the 6, 2 ultra rares out of the 13, and then 2 super rares. Actually, I'll take that back. They've ended up getting 4 ultra rares out of the 13. Then for the Galaxy have got 2 secret rares in this one, and then an ultra rare. But then technically when you include the 7th Tachyon, which is the most valued card in this entire set, it kind of takes up that slot there. So if you've got 6, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the last secret? And then the last secret is this one here, which is, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called like Sanctimonious Fiend or something. I'll Google it in a second. So the biggest casualty of the Galaxy engine is that you need 7th Tachyon, and 7th Tachyon, unfortunately, because it is a meta editing card, I suppose, because it will go into the Ryzeal matchup and the meta decks will be playing it in Ryzeal. It's kind of one of them cards that technically, if it didn't have any meta bearing at all, it would probably be like a £20 card. But because it has a meta bearing effect on it, the card on pre-order, I think the first batch of prices that went out was like £90 a copy, and now it's kind of like settled down to about £70. But I still think it's really wild. Like, this is what I was saying to people before though. When people were saying to me, should I buy Malice or should I buy Ryzeal? I was like, well, if you buy Ryzeal, that's fine. But then you've got to remember that to keep your Ryzeal at the top end of the competitive scale, you're then going to need to invest like another £60+ on the Ascended 7th. And then you're going to be needing to invest another £150 to £200 on the 7th Tachyon. So it really kind of come down to like how much you were willing to invest. Whereas with Malice, you were like, yeah, cool, buy the Malice deck. That's pretty much it. You didn't really need to spend anything too wild in terms of value as long as you moved fast enough. The one engine, like the support that I'm really excited about in this entire set is the actually X, Y, and Z, because you get like the X cannon head, the Y dragon head, the cannon, and then tank. Got 2 new fusions, which again, my only disappointment on this one is like 4 ultra rares, but the pre-order price for the core of this, which would be free of everything, was like £55. And then you've got the Trickstars. So Trickstar's got 3 super rares and then 1 ultra rare. So I think a pre-order of this one wasn't so bad. Then you've got Duke of Demise as a ultra rare. So this is like a really kind of cool fusion target for zombie style decks. You've got some of these crystal cards like the clear cards. So that's for like clear world and everything else in between. And then you've got these so that's clear world. And then you've got some random updated reprints or cards that they probably needed to get in for players to get hold of, basically. So for a new Perform Age, and then you've got these new cards here. Obviously, you've got your Antidote Nurse, you've got your Cutter Shark, the Ancient Gear statue. So these are like all of the like jump promos, V-jump promos and everything else like that the OCG got. And this is probably like the first set that Konami could probably put them in. So Cyclic, Happy Perulia got a reprint. And then Sakif, why'd they put Perulia and not Rabbit, but printed Azaroon? That makes no sense. So I think the reason they've got Azaroon in here but no Rabbit is because Rabbit is in OTS 27. It's still very weird the way that some of this stuff works. And I still feel that sets like this, the sets aren't decided like the week of. I would like to think that these sets are decided well in advance. Like, the higher-ups at Konami will know the full set list prior to a ban list, I reckon. And I always feel that ban lists are done like a month in advance as well. Like, I reckon they already know the cards are going to hit on the ban list. Whether we get that, well, Forbidden and Limited list, whether we get that anytime soon or not will remain to be seen. And I feel that sometimes they can delay it in order to kind of fit the narrative of certain stuff that might be coming out or might be getting reprinted. Why not put Mole Chummies together in Stampede? That is something I still think they will. I would not be surprised if Perulia was in there. And honestly, I think Perulia being reprinted in this set is one of them ones where they have to have a generic card in order to kind of make it appeal to everyone. I don't feel that this set appeals to absolutely everyone because of all the different decks that are in here. You're either going to be drawn to these particular type of decks. The only real meta effective cards that are in this set is, of course, the 7th Tachyon, and that's only if you already have Ryzeal. And then if you don't have Ryzeal, the other card that's going to be of interest to you is going to be the Perulia, which is there. In regards to like reprint status, I think it's really good for like reprint of Quandrax. The whole Sword Soul engine being reprinted in this one is really nice. But I feel that because they're all rares anyway, you can actually pick them up really cheaply and really easily to not have to break the bank. So it's just one of them like not casualties. Like, I feel the biggest kind of casualty of this set is the Galaxy engine or the Galaxy deck, because like to buy an entire Galaxy deck as a core online, unfortunately you have to buy the Galaxy cards with the Ascended 7. Now, the Galaxy cards do want the Ascended 7 as well, because they don't care about locking themselves into XYZs, and then obviously they've got loads of different targets that will help them play. Unfortunately, because it is a meta-reliant card, it's probably a little bit more expensive to get a hold of than, like I said at the start. If this set wasn't huge in regard, like if Ryziel didn't exist, then the 7th Ascended would probably be like a £20 card. But because it does, it's obviously insanely expensive, more so than anything. Don't know where are we at. Wouldn't surprise me if Konami reprint all the Molchemy cards in the next rated collection set. Yeah, exactly. And then the massive reprint I desperately want is Impulse. My wallet can't afford those magenta cards. Is the rank 3 the worst card release in 2020s? What rank 3 are you talking about? And then Spiros Perulia in Maze of Master is basically what Bonfire was in Maze of Millennia. I mean, I would disagree with that. I would say that the 7th Ascended is the Bonfire, because Bonfire was its original print in Maze of Millennia. And Bonfire, quite rightly, like you say though, Bonfire was the searcher for the main meta deck in the form of Snake Eyes at that moment in time, where Ascended 7 is that one right there. And then you're saying, is the rank 3 the worst card release in the 2020s? The Nurse card. Let's have a look. I haven't actually seen what it does. So, quick effect, detach material from this card. Target a monster on the field whose current attack or defense is different from its original value. Its attack and defense become their original value. Also, if you targeted a monster on your field, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn. Once per turn, if another monster or monsters is special to your field and this card has 3 or more materials, etc. in damage state, you can make that monster gain 900 attack. I wouldn't say it's the worst card. There's probably worse cards out there, but yes, it is pretty bad. Yeah. Oh, we've got the other ones here. There was a picture of this. I want to see. I've just clicked on a link and it has the other cards in here, the Fiend as well. Maze of Master. I mean, like, there are some really kind of cool cards in this set, but I do feel that it is very tilted to one way rather than the other. It's not like, if you don't care about the Ascended 7, you're probably not going to be buying a box. If you want a full Tractrix core, you're probably going to be buying a core itself. The fact of the matter is, for £55, which is the core of the XYZ cards, that's less than a box. So, yeah, I think it's very, very tricky on this one to be buying loads and loads of boxes of this. Even with the Odin cards, if you really want to play those, you can buy a core for £100 rather than buying a box. Otherwise, you buy a box, hope you pull Ascended 7, and then trade the Ascended 7 for the rest. So it is kind of give and take. So the Duke of Demise, it requires 2 Fiend and or Zombie monsters. Once per turn during your standby phase, pay 500 life points or destroy this card. It can't be destroyed by battle, and you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves normal summon 1 monster. You can banish this card from the graveyard to then target 1 level 4 or higher Fiend or Zombie monster in your graveyard and add it to the hand. I mean, I do find that pretty funny actually, because technically, you can actually use this in Yubel Fiendsmith, because you would use 2 Fiends, you'd fuse it with Sequence. Sequence then lets you immediately after this effect resolves normal summon a monster. So this will then allow you to get hold of like another Lotus or another Dark Beckoning Beast. It's very niche. Like, I'm not saying you would do that, but it's just kind of like a cool, funny little option you can play around with. So overall, the set's really kind of weird in my opinion. Like, I'm trying to remember the last maze, and I don't think the last maze was that good. Like, we've had some pretty... I don't think any of the mazes have been that amazing, pardon the pun. But they're kind of like the warm-up set of the year. I think last year, Maze of Millennia was the first set of the year. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Maze sets. I'm trying to remember which ones we've had, because we've had 4, haven't we? It's Maze of Master is the most recent one. Maze of Millennia, Maze of Memories Is that all of them? We only had 3. So the Maze sets themselves are a brand new set. So the first one, Maze of Memories, introduced us to Assault Synchro Dragon, On Your Mark, Get Set Duel, Gate Guardian support, Blackluster Soldier support, and we got the Elemental Hero, Wake Up Your Hero. So that was actually like a fairly decent Maze set, in my opinion. The Maze of Millennia introduced us to Earthbounds. It introduced us to the Flame Swordsman. It provided us more Dino cards, Illusion cards, Bonfire, and it also gave us Transaction Rollback. So fairly decent as well. And then when you look at Maze of Master is bringing us the Odin cards. It is bringing us Galaxy cards. I think Maze just basically feels like this import set. It's this set where they're like, we need another set in the year where we can put these imports in and stretch it out a little bit. And I feel that's kind of where this is it. I like these whole TCG exclusives. Obviously, like the Flame Swordsman was a TCG exclusive. The Odins is like a TCG exclusive as well. It'll only last for so long. But like, I would like to play the Odins. I just don't feel that they do enough on their own. If I'm looking at this set, that my main priorities will be to get the XYZ cards themselves. I would like to get a Duke of Demise. I would like to get the new Earthbound card. I would want to get the Ancient Gear statue. The Perform Age cards just because it's like really cheap for a core. I would like the Odin cards, but I'm waiting for the set to officially drop and the prices to come down a little bit. I think Quandrax is a great reprint. This is like the reprint that stands out the most to me. I know a lot of people are going to get drawn to the Perulia, but to me, the fact of the matter is that they've been drip feeding these Crystron cards. Like, this is the icing on the cake. This was the last piece that was missing to make the Crystron engine cheap and accessible. You're never going to be able to win because, unfortunately, once you reprint one card, whatever card hasn't been reprinted in the form of like Crystron Schmeiger is obviously going to creep up in price. But the fact of the matter is that all of the most expensive cards had been reprinted, has made this a lot easier and more accessible to get. So Keith has asked, do you think they're going to print Galaxy support next year? They've done it for this set and the last 2 Maze sets. Citri, they've also asked Quandrax, but no Citri. Citri's in OTS 27. So that's where that is. I would have liked to buy a core for a Tachyon Bestial list I've been playing with, but unfortunately it's way too expensive at the moment. See, I think the issue is, and this is my big issue with the secondary market at the moment, is the secondary market when they're putting a Galaxy core together, they're putting the Galaxy core together with the 7th Ascended. So when you're looking to buy a Galaxy core, you're seeing these Galaxy cores at like 260 to 700 £260 to £300, and you're like, why is the Galaxy cards that expensive? And then you look into what's in them, and it's like, free Ascended 7. And you're like, okay, well, technically the Galaxies will need the 7th Tachyon. I keep saying Ascended 7. 7th Tachyon, right? Technically, the Galaxy deck will benefit from having that card. But if you're like, you know what, I want to play without them. If you were to take away the 7th Tachyon, I'll tell you now, actually. I'm just going to go on Tier 0 games, okay? So if you just wanted the Galaxy cards themselves... now, apologies. So currently, a Galaxy Tachyon deck core is £280. Now, keep in mind, of that £280, the 7th Tachyon is £65 on its own, okay? The core will come with free 7th Tachyon. So if you were to take that 7th Tachyon out times 3 at £65 each, that's £195. So you would take away nearly £200. So technically, a Galaxy core without the 7th Tachyon would only cost you 90 quid. But because of the 7th Tachyon being the meta chaser the way it is, straight away it rockets the core up. Now, obviously, that's not anyone's particular fault. That's just kind of the way that it's stemmed. I don't know if you can... I would like to think you can play the Galaxy deck without the 7th Ascended, right? Like, surely the deck can be played without it. Obviously, it puts you at a disadvantage. It would be like playing Snake Eyes without Bonfire. But the way I see it is Galaxy fans themselves... I mean, maybe if you're a diehard Galaxy fan, you're going to spend £300 on a core. But if you're not a diehard Galaxy fan and you just want to be playing Galaxies as casual for a bit of fun, you'd probably be much better off being given that option of buying a core for £90 without the seventh Tachyon, right? I don't know because I'm not a Galaxy player, but like to me, if I saw that and was like, great, one of my cards is a meta relevant card that's just going to get abused in the main meta deck, I already know it's going to be going up in price, which is a big shame. Chen Ying as a rare was wild to me in card market in Greece. There wasn't any copies available for us. Wow, that's crazy. It's a very weird set. Like the Sword Souls, I don't get why they're in here because they were all reprinted in Mama, but it's cool that they're there. I don't think there's anything missing, but it's kind of cool that you could technically make a rare Tenyi and a rare Sword Soul Tenyi deck, minus the new cards. Like if you include the new cards, then obviously it gets a little bit more pricey. But the new Saruya. Jake, take no break. I'm just talking about Tachyon Dragon. Galaxy Eyes doesn't need Ascension, but Tachyon most definitely needs it to be played, unfortunately. Yeah, so I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, Galaxy Eyes don't need it. So all the new Galaxy support could, like, I suppose if you do want to be playing Galaxy Eyes, you'll just buy the single cards themselves, which is fine. I just think it would have been really kind of cool to have a core available to you for like £90 or £80 for just the Galaxy cards. But then again, I would also have liked the 7th Ascended to be like an ultra rare or a super rare. Like, I want Konami to do what they did with Call by the Grave, because that was funny. Like, when Call by the Grave, everyone was like, this is going to be a secret in the set, it's going to be a secret in the set. And then it came out as a like, we used to get those, we used to get the unlimited sets, which was 3 booster packs and 1 super rare promo. And then they realized that the super rare promo was Call by the Grave. It was like, holy crap, this is going to be a common in the next set. And then it was a common, and it was so easy to get. It was crazy. 7th Ascension is a slightly cheaper option, so you can do like 1 Ascension, 2 Tachyon, or some other ratios if it would help the cost a bit. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you were playing, if you wanted to get the Tachyon spell, should have got the Tachyon spell on release because they were like £3. As soon as 7th Ascended came out, or 7th Tachyon, sorry, I keep mixing them up. As soon as that got announced in the OCG, the price went through the roof, and then like last week, before this set dropped, everyone thought that the Ascended 7 was going to get reprinted in this set. So everyone started selling playsets of the Ascended 7 for like £50 for a playset. Now it's like £90 for a playset, £120 for a playset, which I think is just absolutely wild. I'm kind of glad that I'm not playing Ryziel for the format. But my disappointment is that because Lancer is now searchable, Malice kind of takes a knockback. But then I'm actually really quite happy playing Blue Eyes. Like, I do like how Blue Eyes works. I feel that it could be very, very resilient. And then my second deck right now is going to be White Forest. I just need to learn the White Forest plays. And then my third deck is Crystron. But I haven't had a chance to fully play Crystron yet. Like, I've just been absolutely playing Blue Eyes like no tomorrow. Like, constantly playing Blue Eyes, all the different variants, trying to find the variant that I like the most. And at the moment, I'm kind of stuck on Invoked, Blue Eyes Invoked. I just like the option of going normal summon Alistar. Alistar's effect to search, and straight away, Alistar's effect sometimes will bait out a Impermanent Ash or a Veiler, and you go, yeah, okay, cool, link off into the Link 1. Link 1's effect to search, and then straight away, that will then bait out another hand trap, and you go, okay, cool, Maiden or Sage or Wishes or whatever, and then turn the dragon off. And if you've already hard opened up an invocation, you get to turn it into a Macabre anyway. And the Macabre is just one of them ones that helps you protect against Nib. Like, I played it today and I just haven't been hit with Nib as of yet. So I was kind of lucky with that. Bill Nye, Crystron is stupid cheap now. I've been grinding it for a week now. So yeah, Crystron is like really, really cheap, which I'm quite happy about now, because it's one of them ones that everything was common, everything was really cheap. And then Sulfonirs, I was at YCS Birmingham and people were selling Sulfonirs for like £2 each. I was like, that's ridiculously cheap. And then obviously it got reprinted as a common in OTS. I was like, that's amazing. Quandrax is the only one that's missing. Quandrax has now been reprinted, and now to get a playset of Schmeiger, you're looking at like £10. But Schmeiger definitely needs a reprint. Eddie Sega fan, I was trying to find a way to chain block Wishes, and honestly, Legend Stone might do it. I don't think the Legend Stone does it. because you would go activate wishes, discard the legendary stone. Is this legendary stone a when effect? Legendary stone, Yugioh. Is it? I know it's a mandatory effect, but is it a when effect? I always thought it was an oh my god! Wait, is that? Oh my god! It is a when effect. That's funny. That's really funny. No. It's been updated to an if. Yeah. So what? The White Stone of Legend won't chain block. That is big sad. So the old printing says when. The most recent printing of the White Stone of Legend is if. So you would go activate wishes, discard the White Stone of Legend. At that point, your opponent can Ash. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to trigger the White Stone. Big sad. But I can understand why you think it would, because the old text did say when. But yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. I can now play Crystron Ice Barrier. Is Crystron Ice Barrier a thing? If so, that's actually really funny. Still kind of mad at Konami for putting the Blue Eye support in Master Duel before the Memento support. Had all the Memento cards rotting on my account for months. Yeah, I haven't played Master Duel for ages. Every time I try and pick it up, I look at the decks that I want to play, and it's like all high, and I don't have time to, like, if it would help me improve, like if it helped me test for the actual game, like the actual physical game, I'd be happier for it, but it doesn't. Are Thunder Dragons cheap now? I thought Thunder Dragons were cheap, but I mean, assuming that Hawk and Raw didn't get reprinted, the chances are they probably are. But then I also don't think that Thunder Dragon Fusion has been reprinted, or Titan. I know that Colossus and Dark were reprinted in Rarity 3. So I can imagine there's probably like the odd card of Raw and Hawk that would have been like a £10 card, but now are crazy cheap now that they're going to be a rare. But yeah. I think the issue is like Thunder Dragons just kind of like, the best thing about Thunder Dragons is the fact that you can make Colossus, and I feel that the best thing to make Colossus with is Corridor, and it's just like, okay, well, why would I go out of my way to play a Thunder Dragon engine to get to Colossus when I can just play Corridor? And then Corridor is obviously searchable off the back of going, okay, cool, search out Flag. If you can play a rank 4 engine, you search out Flag and then work your way to it. Yeah, you just do the Crystron stuff after your Ib stuff. If you discard Smygar, you can get Dawn Dragster and 2 pops with the trap without a normal summon. I'm trying to remember what points. I haven't played Ice Barrier for a while now. Which one discards? I think they just discard water, don't they? Oh, to be fair, yeah, you could play the Ice Jade, right? Because in Ice Barrier, you play the Ice Jade card. That's cool. And then doesn't the new one discard as well? No, so the Mirror Mage, you tribute one other effect monster. But then is it Revealer? Why you control an Ice Barrier monster, blah, 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 blah. You can discard one card to special an Ice Barrier tuner from the deck. Okay, so Revealer can use this effect. That's actually really spicy. I like that. So it means Revealer can discard Schmeiger. And so can the Ice Jade Argerine. And the Ice Jade Argerine itself works its way into the gun, the Ice Barrier level 10, right? If your opponent specials a monster, etc. during damage. I like that. That's kind of spicy. That's cool. Revealer, Ice Jade, Swap Frog, Ice Doll. What the hell is Ice Doll? What the hell is this card? You can discard one other water monster, special on this card from the hand. If this card is normal or special, you get to add a water spellcaster from your deck to the hand. Why is nobody playing this? If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a Ice Doll mirror from your deck to the hand. You can only use each effect of Ice Doll once per turn. Also, you can't special on turn you activate any of this card's effects except waters. What? Why? Where is that card? And what is Ice Style Mirror? Ice Style Mirror, send a water monster from your hand or face up field to the grave. Special on a monster from your hand or deck with the same name as one water monster you control. Can't special on for the rest of the turn after this card resolves. It said waters, banish this card from the grave, add an Ice Style from the deck to the hand. Where have these cards been? These aren't real cards, right? These aren't real. What are these? Where are these cards? Where is it? Premium Pack 2025. Bro, they're not even out yet. Why would you do this to me? These cards are amazing. I want those cards. Bro, you had me. Oh, man, that card's cracked. I love that card. Wow, okay. Ice Dolls are sick. I like that. Wow, okay. Ice Barrier Crystron. That's really cool, actually. Wonder how much of an engine you play of Ice Barrier. Sorry, not Ice Barrier. Of Crystron. Free of the spell, free of the spell, free of Schmeiger, and then ones of everything else, maybe. I do need to get my Necros back in line, and I do need to get my I need to get, like, I want to play a lot of water decks this year. I just haven't had a chance to finish them all off. I'm going to end the recording for Maze of Master because I have, like, babbled on long enough about Maze of Master, and we're talking about other stuff, which I'm happy to stay on and do. But obviously I'm currently recording the rest of the stuff. So, thank you so much for watching the video about Maze of Master. Let me know what you think about the set in the comments down below on the pre-record. And let me know what type of cards you are looking to pick up from Maze of Master yourself. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.